Wow, wow, wow! Woohoo! Do we have something to talk about tonight, people? Oh man, I'm not even ready yet, and I already got the camera on. Do we got something to talk about, people? Hold on, real quick. Let me get my water. What in the world? Wow. Woo! Oh man! Oh man, oh man, oh man. What's up, people? It's been a while. But, woo! Woo! Yeah, I just got JD's notification. So I'll give you guys a sec. Give you guys a little bit to get in here. A couple moments. Part of this. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not gonna disagree with you there, JD, but yeah. Thank you for the pink chair reference. Give me one sec, people. There it is. There's the thumbnail. Yep. Hold on. Let me update the thumbnail real quick. I'm doing this live, by the way. I wanted to get a jump start. I know everybody's going live right now. And yes, bro, the TD Garden is minutes from my crib. Minutes from my crib. I could have been there tonight if I really wanted to. Right? But you guys know what I didn't want to pay for a WWE show. We have a lot to talk about. So give me a second, guys. I'm updating the thumbnail right now. As we speak, I'm actually updating the thumbnail. But man, Big E, bro. Look, do I like how they did it? Hell no. Hell no. I'm not going to give WWE all the credit because this casting could have been handled a lot better than it was. But, okay, I'm about to update the thumbnail right now. And there we go, updated. Let's get started, people. What's going on? What's going on? What's up, JQ? What's up, Lil Fettuccine? But you guys are right. I'm seeing you guys all you guys are all right. You guys are all right. Yes. Desperate. You guys want to say that? Lackluster. Look, we're gonna talk about it. But let's get to the intro first. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzbug TV here, aka GLauren33. I am back here tonight with another episode of the Legit Shoot podcast. Here tonight with your WWE Raw review and results for September 13th, 2021. And the big thing coming out of Monday Night Raw tonight, first off, before I say anything, I want to apologize because I was planning on doing a SmackDown review. All right? Look, I was planning to do a SmackDown review, talk about the Demon King Finn Balor and Becky Lynch and all that. I have an extra video coming out this week. It's going to be a very short SmackDown review, right? But you guys will get my thoughts on that. So that was just a quick programming note because I actually this weekend was crazy for me, so I just didn't have the time to do it. But just wanted to say that. But anyway, we'll talk about SmackDown later. The big thing. Big E is the new WWE champion. He is the new WWE champion. He cashed in tonight. Like I said, the TD Garden is minutes from my house. If I really wanted to be at that show tonight, I could have. I could have easily been at the Garden tonight. And, to experience Big E's, cash in live, that would have been great. But look, you guys know my feelings on Raw. You guys know my feelings on Raw. It's just not it just wasn't enough for me to want to actually spend my hard-earned money on a ticket. So, sure, I'm always gonna have in the back of my mind, like, damn, I could have been there for Big E's cash in. But if I'm being honest with you guys, like, come on, you know, like for the most part, Raw is garbage. Raw is garbage. The way and I don't want to be negative about this cash in, but I would not be doing my job as a content creator, as a wrestling analyst. I would not, as a podcaster, I would not be doing my job if I didn't say that the way WWE handled this cash in tonight wasn't proper at all. Right? First things first. There's a lot of factors that go into this. First thing is AEW, of course. The big thing, AEW is on a roll right now. CM Punk returned, and like I also want to say this in our programming note, I need to figure out a way to be able to do AEW reviews because I work Wednesday nights, so it makes it harder because I want to do Dynamite reviews weekly, but it's tough because my work schedule just doesn't align with AEW. So I gotta figure out a way to get you guys that, but like I said, I'm going to try to do my best to figure out some way to give you guys AEW reviews, right? But anyway, like I said, AEW's been on a roll as of late. After All Out, of course, and the return of CM Punk to the ring, right? Dynamite had a huge show. What was I? Dynamite had a huge show last Wednesday. Huge show. CM Punk, it looks like his next feud is going to be against Team Taz. Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson being teased. MJF absolutely shitting on Cincinnati. They had a huge show last Wednesday, and it was the perfect way to follow up All Out's big show. Then you have Adam Cole making his debut on Wednesday, right? This Wednesday for Dynamite. AEW is rolling on all cylinders. You also had Mick Foley call out WWE. I wanted to do an extra video on that, but I just didn't have the time to do it. Mick Foley calling out WWE and saying what people like me have been saying for years now. The problems. AEW is on a roll right now, and WWE is in serious trouble. Serious trouble. Mick Foley said it best. WWE is no longer the number one spot for high-end talent. Now people are seeing what AEW is doing, and they're flocking over to AEW. So AEW is on a roll right now. And one of the biggest factors is that they actually beat Monday Night Raw. Excuse me. They beat Monday Night Raw in the 40. Hold on, let me just fix this because this is actually pissing me off. But they actually beat Monday Night Raw in the 18 to 49 demographic. And everybody knows that's the big demo. That's the one that you really want to be, high in because that shows advertisers that young people are watching your show. And then you want to, advertisers are going to want to pay you guys the market on your product. So the 18 to 49 demographic is absolutely huge. And the fact that AEW now has beaten Raw in the 18 to 49 demographic, that is big, And WWE responded on SmackDown with their best SmackDown of the year, And even though I didn't get a chance to do a review on it, I'll say it here. Last Friday's SmackDown was the best SmackDown of the year. The return of Brock Lesnar and that brilliant opening segment with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. You have Edge and Seth Rollins give you another classic. Even though it wasn't as good as their SummerSlam match, it was still a fantastic match, right? And the storytelling they told at the end there with Edge getting hit by the curb stomp from Rollins. And then you had the Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair contract signing, right? Bianca's looking better by the week, finally. And, Becky Lynch's heel turn is finally, taking a big turn, even though I don't like how they'll handle it. And, of course, I'll make an extra video on that, and we'll talk about that later this week. And then, of course, the return of the Demon King Finn Balor, right? The Demon Finn Balor returning to challenge Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules for the Universal Championship. Plus, you had an awesome match with the Usos and the Street Profits. So WWE responded to AEW pretty well on SmackDown. They gave you the best SmackDown of the year. And they showed you that when they try, when they want to, WWE can be great. WWE can be number one like they should be. That's the expectation, you know? And going to Monday Night Raw, WWE saw all the momentum that they were getting from the SmackDown show, and they wanted to put on a big show for Monday Night Raw. Especially they're in Boston, right? We're hearing the reports of potentially the Royal Rumble possibly being in Boston this year. We know that next year WWE wants to do at least one big pay-per-view in Boston, and they should. Just look at how crazy that crowd was tonight. You know, that may have been the best crowd that WWE has had since coming back on the road. You know, it's definitely the best Monday Night Raw crowd they've had since going back on the road. Imagine they had John Cena there tonight or something. Ooh, that would have been crazy. But, you know, the thing is, you know, they wanted to carry momentum into the show. They wanted something big to happen, but the execution was just not done well. So early in the day, Big E says that he fully intends to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase on Raw tonight, right? Fully intends to. And I'm just like, first of all, what the fuck are you doing? One of the whole things about Money in the Bank is the surprise element, right? The surprise element. Usually when you cash in, it's supposed to come out of nowhere. The champion is not supposed to expect it because you want it to be special. You want to gain that mental advantage on your competitor, and you also want to make sure, most of the time at least, you want the champion to be in an exhausted state, usually after a big match or a title match, right? Where you're 100% fresh and the champion isn't. So that's the best chance for you to prevail and win the WWE champ or win whatever championship you're cashing in for. So it just made no sense for Big E from his perspective to say, "Oh, I'm gonna cash in," like you're taking out all of the surprise and intrigue from the cash in itself. So that's already a problem. That's already a way they messed up. Plus, they further did damage by having Big E start off Monday Night Raw. At the beginning of the show, Big E came out making it clear once again that he was going to cash in on whoever won the WWE Championship match between Randy Orton and Bobby Lashley. So that's one problem, right? One problem. You took out the surprise element right then and there. The second problem. Randy Orton and Big E was originally supposed to take place at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view in 2 weeks. So at first, you have it scheduled, right? You have one of your two biggest championships in the company, the WWE and the Universal Championship. You have the WWE Championship match being moved to Monday Night Raw. And everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why? Why the hell are you moving this big title match to Monday Night Raw? Especially when you're 2 weeks away from a pay-per-view. It's not like the pay-per-view's a month away. It's 2 weeks away. 13 days away. 12 days at this point. So why are you moving it? And it became clear that, all right, it looks like they're planning the Big E cash-in. So that's already a second problem. The second problem is, of course, you moving the WWE Championship match over to Raw. That's a problem in itself. And it's the third problem is that you're desperate. This comes of pure desperation. JQ just said in the chat, WWE completely blew their load too early. Completely. This is desperation. The reason why you're doing this is you wanted to gain viewership. You wanted to gain entrance. Right? That's the only reason why you had Big E say he was going to cash in, because now you got people thinking in their heads, oh, Big E might cash in tonight. He's going to be there in Boston at Raw. Now I'm going to watch the show to see what happens. And I understand from a marketing standpoint, like, okay, you want people to watch the show to see if Big E's actually going to cash in. But now you've taken away that surprise element that makes Money in the Bank cash-ins so special. That's what the is not understanding. They're so desperate to combat what AEW's been doing, with all the success they're doing. They took out one of their most special elements. The Money in the Bank cash is supposed to be special, right? Look, look, look. This could have gone so much worse than it actually did. Because that crowd tonight in Boston, in my hometown, that crowd tonight helped kind of saved a lot of the damage that could have been done here, right? A lot of the damage that could have been done here, because that crowd went absolutely insane. Even they knew that for the most part that Big E was going to cash in, they didn't care. They went absolutely wild. That pop that Big E got when he got the 3 count on Bobby Lashley, one of the biggest pops of the year, right? And it kind of made the cash in worth it. But here's the thing. Here's another thing that WWE fucked up, right? Fourth, Bobby Lashley. Outside of Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley has been the most dominant figure in WWE. He's been the number 1 guy on Raw all year. He's run through almost everybody on that roster. And for the most part, he's been a great champion, right? He looks the part of the champion. He has MVP over there to do most of the promo work for him, right? He's great in the ring. He's a powerhouse. He's a beast. He's a monster, And for the most part, he's been a great WWE champion. He's held the championship all year because he won it in February. So he's had the title now for about 7 months. And he's had great matches with Drew McIntyre, the triple threat with Drew and Braun Strowman, right? He's run through Kofi Kingston, ran through Goldberg, even though Goldberg should have never got a title match. But for the most part, he's been a pretty good champion in my eyes. WWE's made some mistakes here and there, but he's been a pretty good WWE champion. So here you have it. You have his title reign end in, I don't want to say a sad way, because Big E's cash-in was kind of epic because of how great that crowd was. But, it was kind of like, really? This is the way you're ending Bobby Lashley's reign as WWE champion? If they had done the cash-in tonight, if they had done it, without Big E reviewing that he was going to cash in, if Big E had just showed up at the end of the show and cashed in, then I wouldn't be saying most of this. I'd be saying, holy shit, what a moment, what a cash in, what a way to end this show, because I've been saying for months that Big E should cash on Bobby Lashley. It never really made sense for Big E to cash in on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is not losing that championship to anybody. Doesn't matter that Big E had Money in the Bank. There is nobody right now on the main roster. There's really nobody in that company right now that is fit to take that title from Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is being built like a freaking god among men, something like that. Right? Like Roman Reigns has beaten everybody. So sure, if you had Big E cash in on Roman Reigns, it would have been, a great moment. But the thing about it is, it wouldn't have felt right. It wouldn't. The Roman should not be losing that championship to anybody. The person that takes that title off for Roman should be built up over a long period of time. So when they take that title from Roman, they can be just as dominant as Roman was as champion. The person that takes that title from Roman should be an up and rising star. They should become a megastar just for the fact that they beat Roman, who's been the most dominant champion we've had in years in the company. So it never would have made sense for Big E to cash in on Roman. So you knew for the most part Big E was most likely to cash in on Bobby Lashley. I said that the best time for Lashley to cash in, or for Big E to cash in on Lashley, would have been after Money in the Bank, right? After he destroyed Big E's brother and Kofi Kingston, right? That would have been a great time to do it, because Big E had won Money in the Bank earlier in the night. It would have been great if they had done the cash-in right then and there. Or B, SummerSlam, especially after how atrocious that Goldberg match was. The only positive to take away from that would have been if you had Big E cash in on Lashley right after the SummerSlam WWE title match. That would have been the best time to do it. Doing it tonight, especially without the surprise element to it, it's kind of like, really? This is the way you're ending Bobby Lashley's title reign? Really? After how dominant he's been, how he's become a huge star, after everybody he's destroyed, it's like, this is how you're doing it? No surprise, and you're just gonna go with this leg injury storyline, whatever. It was like, come on. I think Lashley deserves a better end to his title reign. And even though I love how it's, like, we're seeing all this success of African Americans, Lashley being WWE champion, now Big E becoming WWE champion, it could have been done better. It could have been done better. And I do believe Lashley deserved a better end to his title reign. If they had done it with the surprise element and Big E not saying to the world, I'm going to cash in, then that's different. That's different. But the fact that Big E already made his intentions clear that he was going to cash in, it was like, come on, we could do Lashley deserves better, right? And the thing about it is, we all know that Lashley's going to be heading towards a rematch with Goldberg anyway. It's not going to be for the WWE Championship, clearly because Lashley's not champion. But I think it's pretty clear what's going to be happening going forward with Lashley. Lashley's going to get a rematch against Big E, probably for Extreme Rules, right? Because now there's no WWE title match for Extreme Rules. So they're probably going to give Lashley his rematch at Extreme Rules. They're going to set that next week. And then right after that, Big E will be officially drafted to Raw. Because remember, Big E is technically, he's still a SmackDown superstar. He can be on Raw because the WWE Championship is supposed to be exclusive to Raw. But he's technically still a SmackDown superstar. So he won't officially become part of the Red Brand, probably not until the WWE draft. But, this could have been done far better. Clearly, they're going to do Lashley and Big E. They're going to do the rematch at Extreme Rules. Big E's probably going to retain. And then they're going to do Lashley versus Goldberg and have their rematch at Saudi Arabia, probably where Goldberg gets his payback. And then after that, I don't know what you do with Lashley. I honestly probably move Lashley to SmackDown, right? Move Lashley to SmackDown. Because, I would not want to see Lashley stay on Monday Night Raw after, what's played out here. I feel like, putting Lashley on SmackDown, having him and Roman and potentially Drew and Seth and some other names now in the SmackDown main event scene, that would be the best direction going forward. So that's so after you do Lashley and Big E at Extreme Rules and have Lashley versus Goldberg in Saudi Arabia, then probably is most likely best move Lashley over to SmackDown. But like I said, this could have been done better. Those are the big four things that are on my mind. You took out the surprise element. The desperation of the AEW impact, right? The desperation to respond to AEW success. Bobby Lashley's title reign not being done correctly. And, here's another thing. If you guys think about it, Money in the Bank, we keep fucking up with Money in the Bank. Nikki Cross winning the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match felt absolutely meaningless because the way she won Money in the Bank was not special at all, right? The way she won Money in the Bank was done terribly. She just ran up a ladder when everyone else was fighting and then won it. And then her cash-in was even more meaningless. She won with 30 seconds left in Raw. They told you right then and there that they didn't really care about Nikki Cross as champion because she won the Raw Women's Championship with 30 seconds left in the show. And then, boom, they just ended the show right then and there. They just ended the show, and then that was that. It was like, well, what are you doing? And then she loses the title like 3 weeks later at SummerSlam. She holds the title for less than a month, and then she just to lose it to Charlotte, the same person that she cashed it in on. So the women's Money in the Bank cash-in was pointless. The men's Money in the Bank cash-in wasn't pointless, but it was executed terribly. And this could be brought even to last year, right? Otis won Money in the Bank last year, and then he lost it to the freaking Miz. He lost his own briefcase to the Miz. It was terrible storytelling. And then Oscar's cashing, or Oscar didn't even cash in. She traded in the Money in the Bank briefcase just to find out that the Raw Women's Championship basically was the briefcase, because that's how Becky Lynch vacated the title. So basically, if you look at it, the last 2 years of Money in the Bank cash-ins have not been special at all. It's like WWE has completely forgotten how to book a Money in the Bank cash-in. Right? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You know, I want to be happy about Big E cashing in. I truly do, guys. I love Big E. You guys know this. I made a whole video on how Big E cashing can be made into one of the best storylines in WWE. I told you guys how they should have cashed in Big E. There were 2 missed opportunities. WWE had 2 missed opportunities with Big E's cash in. Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. But they chose this route. And if it wasn't, I will keep saying this. I will say this now, and I know I'm going to keep saying it in the weeks to come. If it wasn't for that crowd, if it wasn't for that amazing crowd that they had in the Garden tonight, down there in Boston, my hometown, if they didn't have that crowd tonight, that cash-in would have been fucked up. If they had done it in almost any other city, right, you know, it would have been bad. It would have been really, really bad. You know, that crowd helped save that cash-in. But a real fan like me, a guy who analyzes and knows how this company is supposed to operate, especially when it comes to their creative, WWE could have executed this so much better. They did this because of pure desperation, because of what AEW is doing. They saw how great SmackDown was, and they thought, oh, this is the best way to pop a big rating for Monday Night Raw, when it could have been done so much better. So much better. Because if you keep Bobby Lashley on Monday Night Raw after this, and he's not drafted to SmackDown, everyone's going to be like, what the hell does Bobby Lashley do now? You made him into this dominant figure, right? This absolute powerhouse, just to lose to Big E. And then, boom, where's he going to go? You're going to send him back after the United States Championship? Lashley should not be going down. He's a main event star. He should not be going after a title he's already won. The guy is a main event star. So, like I said, you know, what's the future for Bobby Lashley? The best thing you could do for him going forward is send him to SmackDown after he finishes this program with Big E and he finishes up with Goldberg. Send him to SmackDown and put him in the Universal Championship picture. Same thing with Drew McIntyre. You know, I want to be happy for Big E. You guys know how much I love the New Day. Even though sometimes they are overbooked, you know, they've had to. I will be the first to say they've probably won the tag team championships way too many times. But, you know, I love Kofi Kingston. He, you know, Boston grown just like me. You know, one of my favorite WWE superstars growing up. And I'm happy to see he won his WWE Championship a couple years ago. And I knew one day Big E would be a world champion. You know, I don't think Xavier Woods will ever be a world champion, but the guy is still great at what he does. No disrespect to Xavier Woods, you know? So I'm very happy for Big E, but this could have been done so much better. So much better. And that's the point I want to get across. It just seems very, very desperate the way WWE did this. If you look, WWE's official. If you look at WWE's Twitter page, they've changed their handle. Well, the handle's still WWE, but their Twitter name is Big E is WWE Champion, which is hilarious. I love Big E, man, and he deserves this more than anybody, right? But this could have been done way, way better, you know. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth, right? You know, it just comes with desperation, man. You know, like, come on. You know, and now here's the thing. What are you going to do going forward with Big E? The guy is he's supposed to be the face of Monday Night Raw. So what do? You have a plan for his title reign? Clearly, in the short term, it would make the most sense for Big E's first title defense to be against Bobby Lashley. That's most likely going to be the WWE Championship match at Extreme Rules, right? Remember also, Lashley and MVP are supposed to be getting another Raw Tag Team Championship opportunity against Orton and Riddle. Because remember, they won the what was it, tag team turmoil match, that garbage last week. So they're supposed to be getting a tag team turmoil or championship opportunity. So when's that match gonna take place? Are you gonna do that next week to get that out of the way, and then do Lashley and Biggie at the pay-per-view? That's probably what WWE should do. Probably what WWE will do, hopefully. But you know, I guess so that would make sense for Big E's first opponent. So then after that, what do you do? I don't. I don't know what other heels. That you could do shame. Like I don't know because we don't know what Raw's gonna look like post the draft. We don't. Does Seth Rollins get moved back over to Raw to challenge Biggie? I don't know. Like I don't know who's gonna be the first to challenge Biggie for the WWE Championship after Bobby Lashley. I don't know, right? I pitched the storyline that maybe you could have Big E get cashed or not cashed. Big E turns on the New Day and turns heel, right? But I don't think WWE has any plans to do that, especially after uh especially after what they did tonight. They're clearly building Big E to be one of their biggest babyface stars, which I have no problem with. I just want to know what's the plan for his title reign. What do you actually have planned for Big E going forward? Now, give me something that makes sense. Give me something that makes sense. That's all I'm asking for. So, like I said, I want to be happy for Big E, but I just feel like WWE's execution just could have been so much better with this. This speaks volumes of how desperate they are. It's just like it's sad because the WWE knows that they could have done better with this. I know deep down WWE knows they could have done better with this, but they're gonna just try to live up the hype, live up the excitement, off Big E's title win. But they could have done this so much better. Oh, I see Austin says AJ Styles versus Big E. That would be a great match. I would love to see that feud. I would love to see that. But yeah, so basically that's my big thoughts coming out of Monday Night Raw. Clearly, this is the big thing. This is what people are gonna be talking about all week. Big E is the new WWE champion, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit more as we talk about the rest of this show. Right, but Big E is the new WWE champion. I'm happy for him. I just wish WWE did a better job with their execution. So give me one sec. Let's get everyone's talking. Everyone's talking on social media. Like I said, super chats are open. If you guys want to donate, you guys can. Everything that you guys donate, of course, goes back into the channel because we're building ourselves up here on Fitz1 TV. I'm just giving me a sec as I see what's going on social media. But yeah, let me do. So, what did you guys think of Big E's cash? I'm gonna read through the chat here in a little bit in just a sec. Right after I set this text out. Yeah, give me. And Vader commented on my Dragon Ball video. Like, yeah, I was watching the show and making the Dragon Ball video at the same time. I know, bro. I know. Give me one sec. But yeah, that Raiders Ravens game is going pretty crazy. Well, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat before we go through this show. Steven says Biggie cash in the money to bring briefcase on Bobby Lashley, take the belt. So your grammar is messed up there, bro. Come on. You mean 10:52, not 9:52, Edward. I agree with what you're saying, JQ. You always got good points, bro. For the most part. Yes, and yeah, like I said, they did put a date for the WWE draft. They did put a date for the WWE draft. Right now, the WWE draft is set for October 1st. October 1st, and I believe it'll be on SmackDown and then concluding on Raw. So we have Extreme Rules taking place on the 26th, and I don't know if it would make. I think it would make more sense to have the draft on the 27th, right, the night after Extreme Rules. Just started then there, right? Have Extreme Rules end this era, or whatever you want to call it, of the current rosters, and then just have the draft start the next night on Monday Night Raw. Have Extreme Rules be your post, have Monday Night Raw serve as your post Extreme Rules show, and the first night of the draft, and then have the second night of the draft on SmackDown. But they're waiting till October 1st. They're gonna start on SmackDown, probably because they want to use it as a marketing standpoint, because Fox, and they're gonna try to get a big rating out of it, But whatever. So we have the draft set for October 1st. Right now. So at some point, sometime in the next couple of weeks, I do plan to do a mock WWE draft. I do this almost every single year, where we go through the rosters and we do our own mock draft of who should go where. I gotta find something that has the updated rosters, because the rosters have been changed so much, because so many superstars have been released, so many superstars have gone to different places, right? So hopefully I can find a tier maker where the rosters are somewhat accurate here in the next couple of weeks. But yes, we will be doing a mock draft here on the channel sooner rather than later. Yeah, this Raider game, bro. That's the thing, bro. That's the thing that's taking my attention. And the Raiders, bro, like, guys, I'm a huge football guy. Like, we had the Brady and you know how big a Tom Brady fan I am. But we had that crazy Bucks Cowboys game to start the season. They got Russell. That's crazy. So yeah, I am talking a little bit football here, but we had that Bucks Cowboys game to start the season on Thursday, and now we have this amazing Monday Night Football game. Holy moly! What a way to start the season! What a way to start the season here. Raiders at the 1 yard line. I just want to see if they score, then we'll get back to the review. I think Carr got into the end zone, but imagine Fitz talking football on a Monday Night Raw review. It's not the first time, people. You guys remember some of those Raw reviews last year where I was talking about football because how bad Monday Night Raw was. Like, they could kick the field goal, but the Raiders will get the ball back. They want to score right here. They called a time, bro. Man, I gotta get back to talking Monday Night Raw here. You gotta call timeouts, bro. What the fuck? Oh yeah, let me pull my let me pull my Bleacher Report notes. Like I said, guys, just bear with me. As soon as the As soon as the Raiders, if they could score here, I expect them to. As soon as they score, we'll get into Monday Night Raw. Oh my gosh. False start on the 1 yard line by the Raiders. That's going to push them back 5 yards. Basically force them to pass. You guys look, I don't have an NFL podcast on here. Imagine if I did. I could. I just don't know if there would be enough, viewership. Derek Carr tried to do a hard. Why are you doing a hard count on the 1 yard line? Now you can't. Now you're not gonna run it. You're up back on what, the 6 yard line? Nope. Derek Carr throws it away. Now we're back on the 3rd and goal. I see you guys in the chat talking about the game as well. Like I said, man. Certified hustler. Raw is war. That's funny. Biggie, can't you see? I'm the new WWE champion. That's funny right there. B hit that hip. Oh my gosh. All right, 3rd and goal. You got to score here. Come on. Oh! No! No! He threw an intercept. Oh, no. The Raiders will be the Raiders. He had it. Oh, man. That would have been... Oh, man. It went right through his hands. Who was that? Ruggs? Oh. That is wow. So now the Ravers, not the Raiders. So now the Ravens, so you just need to get in the field goal. Now they just got to get into field goal territory and then kick a field goal. But anyway, okay, I'm going to get back to Raw review. I got the game on in the background, but wow. Wow. Wow, wow. I feel really bad for Raiders, bro. Bro. Well, see Shannon Sharp tweet. Look, I'm having fun talking about. I'm having fun talking football with y'all. Like we'll get back to Raw in just a sec, man. But fuck. Now you're making me want to almost end the review in a way because this Raiders game go crazy. First down. Hey, man. This is game of the season. This is game of the season, bro. Bro, I will say this. If you guys look at Twitter right now, all these WWE superstars talking about Big E. You have AEW guys tweeting about Big E. You have Cash from FTR, the revival when they were in WWE. He said Big E deserves all the flowers he ever gets, especially that big gold one. Fuck yes. Right, so you got AEW guys watching Big E's cash in tonight. Man, oh man. Look, I'm looking at the viewer. I know we've lost some people. Market incomplete. It's incomplete. We're losing some viewers, right? Because yo want me to talk about Monday Night Raw, and I'm talking about football. Okay, we'll talk about Monday Night Raw. Okay, please. I apologize. I apologize. But I still have the game on, so just let you guys know. Just let you guys know I got the game on in the background. Right. I have to have my AirPod in so I can listen to the game while I talk to you. Or give me 1 sec. Third and 7, Lamar got sacked. Did he fumble? I think he fumbled. All the Raiders. Ooh. So let me see. Did he actually fumble? He did. Yep. He fumbled it. Bro, this is a one-time thing, guys. Unless Brady's on. I would kick the field goal right now. I would kick that damn field goal right now. Waste no more damn time. All right, anyway. So Raw started off tonight. So the show started off with Big E. All right. Big E came out to the ring first, making his intentions known that he was going to cash in the WWE Championship or cash in his Money to Bring briefcase for the WWE Championship tonight. So then Orton and Riddle came up to talk about how Orton planned to become WWE Champion tonight. They're kicking the field goal right now. Well, they're gonna call it. So Raiders about to kick the field goal. But so then lastly an MVP came out to the ring, right? And I'll give Bobby Lashley credit, bro. Like I said, so Lashley came out with this awesome brown and blue suit, bro. Like, oh, I gotta give Lashley his flowers, man. When this guy dresses fly, he dresses fly, man. Like, I love the way Lashley looked, man, wearing that suit. Wow, they sent the Raiders. Well, they sent the Raiders fucking wow. They sent the Raiders field. They sent the Raiders offense right back on the field after teasing, and now they're teasing pass on 2nd and 14. Where's he throwing it? Oh! Touchdown Raiders! What a way to end the game. What kind of defense was that by the Ravens? Oh my goodness. What a way to end the game. They just drew. They just drew up like, wow. What a way to end the game. Holy moly. Ravens are supposed to have like a top 5 defense in the league. They were expecting run. That's the easiest touchdown pass you'll ever get. Wow. What a play call. What a way for the Raiders to open up in their new stadium. Wow. 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 It was a bomb blitz with zero coverage. So yeah, bomb blitz. I know that bomb blitz. Bomb blitz. That's actually a play in Madden. For those of you guys know, it's where you basically send everyone. There was no coverage. One is wow. That's a bad play call by the Ravens. Great play call by the Raiders. That is insane. What a win. What a game. Wow. 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 Okay. Wow. What a night, right? Big E wins the WWE Championship. You get Fitz reacting to Monday Night Football on a Raw review. You can't ask for anything better. You can't ask for anything better. Wow. Crazy stuff. So, let's get back to Monday Night Raw. Right? Let's get into the actual review, what you guys are actually here for. But you guys know, I have to give you guys a little bit of bonus entertainment here. You guys know what we do here on Fitzpunk TV. You guys know the drill. Anyway, so like I said, the opening segment, you have Orton, Lashley, MVP, Riddle, and Big E out there. And basically, MVP was asking how did Orton get their title class move from Extreme Rules to tonight? So I'll give WWE credit. They didn't just, because last week on Raw, Orton said clearly that he wanted a WWE Championship match at Extreme Rules. They had the graphics set up and everything. So I will at least give WWE credit for not insulting our intelligence and in acknowledging that the match was originally supposed to take place at Extreme Rules, but it had gotten moved to tonight. So I would thank WWE for that. But Orton basically said, he gave a simple explanation. He said that he went to management and got his request granted because he is Randy Orton, which kind of makes sense. He is one of the biggest stars in that company. He's a legend, future Hall of Famer. So he got he did some persuading and he got the match moved up to tonight. So I will give, Randy Orton credit. It was a pretty simple explanation, right? Even though it went from a storyline standpoint, it makes sense. From a logical standpoint, right, where you factor in everything with Big E, it's just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like I said, it goes back to WWE's execution. At least from a storyline standpoint, it made sense, the explanation that they gave for why they chose to move up the WWE Championship match, right? So Big E watched as both Orton and Lashley kept arguing, going back and forth, and Big E kept saying that no matter what happens, he was going to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase at the end of the night to become WWE champion, right? So Lashley then, this is kind of funny. Lashley said that if you even try to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase on me tonight, right after I defeat Orton, I'm going to shove that briefcase so far up your ass that you'll be able to taste the fine print, which I'll give Lashley credit. That was a pretty clever line. That was I don't know if he came up with that or that somebody scripted him to say that, but that was pretty cool. That sounded like something that The Rock would say in a promo. Like, I'll shove that shit so far up your candy ass that you can taste the fine print. Like that was a good line by Bobby Lashley. But all of a sudden, basically, we saw Lashley. He knocks the briefcase out of out of Big E's hand, right? And then Orton hit Lashley with an RKO out of nowhere to end the segment. So basically, this was an okay segment. I had no problem with this opening the show, even though I don't like how they took the surprise element out of Big E's cash in. This segment had no problem. The crowd was red hot for this opening segment. They were clearly behind both Big E and Orton, and it did a good way of setting the stage for the main event, even though I don't like the cash-in. But still, I will give WWE credit for, how they did this. I will give credit for at least giving us a good opening segment. The last two opening segments from Raw and SmackDown have been really, really good. SmackDown with Lesnar, Heyman, and Roman, and tonight with these five men, pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Okay. Bro, everyone's texting me about that Ravens game. Oh my gosh. Bro, man, Ravens deserve to lose that game with that the defense on that play, bro. Like, how do you go up against John Gruden? How do you go up against John Gruden and come up with that? John Gruden loves to take shots and loves to do crazy plays. You really thought he was just going to run the ball and kick a field goal? No. And the fact that you had no defense, like, oh. Oh, wow, there we go. The My NBA 2K22 app is finally up. It's finally up. Finally, man. So after I finish this review, I can finally go scan my face for NBA 2K22. About damn time. Holy moly. 2K released 4 days ago, and I haven't been able to scan my face. So they finally got it up for iOS. Good. My golly, pissing a brother off. But damn, bro. Took them fucking 4 days to get the face scan up, right? Fucking hell, dude. Fucking hell, 2K, man. Fucking hell. So who knows? Maybe I'll stream some 2K22 later this week. Never know. Right? So would you guys be interested in Fitz streaming some 2K for you guys? Let me know in the comment section down below. But fucking hell, man. Anyway. So our first action of the night was Charlotte versus Shayna Baszler, the robot. So we're being honest here. If I'm being completely honest, as much as I don't like Charlotte Flair, this could have been a Raw Women's Championship feud. You guys know how I feel about Shayna Baszler and the treatment she's gotten on Monday Night Raw, and how WWE has completely dropped the ball on somebody that should be a huge star in that women's division. Like, I have no idea why Shayna Baszler has been misutilized the way she has. She's way too damn good. Have people forgotten that she was the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, or not Raw, NXT Women's Champion a couple years ago? Have people forgotten how great she was? Right, Shayna Baszler at this point should have already been a Raw Women's Champion on the main roster at least once, if not twice. So the fact that she has not even sniffed a Raw Women's Championship match, especially after Becky Lynch buried her at WrestleMania last year, is absolutely sad. It makes no sense. It's mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling, especially when you know how good Shayna Baszler actually is. So they teased this match, right? They've had Charlotte feuding with Nia and Shayna these last couple weeks. And if you guys have been watching Raw the last couple weeks, you saw Charlotte. She successfully retained the Raw Women's Championship match against Raw Women's Championship in a match against Nia Jax, which was pretty physical. Those two were actually throwing some real body blows at one another. So they had her going up against her Nia's other partner in Shayna, and they were teasing a lot of dysfunction with the team. So basically, if you guys remember last week, Shayna interrupted Nia's title match by saying, "Oh, she doesn't believe that Nia could beat Charlotte," which doesn't make any sense because she's supposed to be out there providing support for her partner. And then Nia actually went out there and lost. So this week, Nia was like, "What the hell? Can we get on the same page here? What the hell are you doing? You know?" And then Nia was trying to, try to get herself back on the same page with her partner, but it really didn't look like Shayna was having any of it. And you notice that Shayna came to the ring by herself. So Nia came to the ring early, a little bit later on in the match, right? And this match actually wasn't bad. This match wasn't bad. It had 2 commercial breaks, but Charlotte and Shayna, actually went at it. I'm actually kind of happy that WWE finally gave some time to the women's division. The WWE Women's Division, especially after SummerSlam, has been barely getting any time as late on WWE TV. So I'm happy. I was actually happy that these two got, a decent amount of time, and we actually got, a pretty good match here with Shayna and Charlotte. And like I said, I hate to give Charlotte credit because she's overrated as hell, but I'll give her credit here. This was a pretty good match. And basically, we saw Charlotte was in control as we went to the first break. Then Charlotte, when we came back, she hit Shayna with a fallaway slam. Look, for some reason the Boston crowd was mainly on Charlotte's side, but still it's kind of easy to do that because why would Shayna's a full heel? You go to any WWE event and people are doing the Charlotte woo chants, right? So Charlotte went up to the top turnbuckle, but Baszler tripped her and hit her with a kick to the head for a 2 count. So then she grabbed Charlotte to the Karafuda clutch, but Charlotte hit her with a side suplex. Baszler dropped her with a German suplex and a boot to the face. All right, Shayna got some more kicks in, but then Charlotte knocked her down with a clothesline. I liked how aggressive these two were actually being here. So we saw Charlotte. She actually used her fiance Andrade, who we know, of course, is in AEW. Andrade and Pac, formerly known as Neville, right? They had a really good match on AEW Rampage last Friday. So go check that out if you guys haven't already. But Charlotte did Andrade's spinning elbow for a close 2 count. She did the moonsault to the floor, which she does every week. I don't understand why people get excited for it. I feel like that move is overrated as shit. Her moonsault's not that good. But every week people see it, they see her spinning in the air, and they get fucking hype over it. Even though I think it's, one of the most overrated moves in wrestling. I hate when she does that moonsault, bro. I hate it. So then she climbed up to the top rope, after doing the moonsault. Jax came down and distracted a lot of Baszler with those showing into the steel steps. So then we had our second commercial break. We come back. We see both they're trading shots at each other with Nia at ringside. So Shayna hit her with another German suplex before Charlotte took her down with a chop block. Jax got on the apron and distracted Baszler, allowing Charlotte to hit a big boot and get the 1, 2, 3, right? So it was like Nia was getting some payback on Baszler for what she did last week, so Charlotte got the win here. And what was actually a decent match, right? I don't know how that we could see this and not think, oh, why don't we push, and I'm just moving my arm to get some movement because it feels a little sore, but why don't we push Shayna Baszler? Like, if she could put on a great match like this with Charlotte, Why don't we push her and make her, actually stand out? Like, it mind boggles me that, WWE has not done anything with fucking Charlotte. Or not Charlotte, with Shayna Baszler. So, yeah. Uh, Casey making me, Casey, that's hilarious. I'll take overrated wrestlers for $400. The most overrated women's wrestler of all time. Who is Charlotte Flair? Fucking, that's a great Jeopardy question. So, anyway, so so after the match, Alexa Bliss came out, right? Alexa Bliss came out and she had a gift for Charlotte, right? And I knew right away, like, this is probably gonna be a fucking doll. It's gonna go with the whole Charlotte storyline or the whole Alexa character. It makes perfect sense. I was like right away, like, how much you want to bet there's some kind of doll in there? So Charlotte tried to refuse the gift, but Alexa kept insisting on it. The Boston crowd kept insisting on it, and then the so she did open the box event. She was like, yeah, I do love gifts, and then she found her own version of Lily named Charlie, right? And the crowd started up a Charlie chant, and then all of a sudden Charlotte said something about her retaining at Extreme Rules, right? And so Alexa will have all the time, something like Alexa will have all the time to play with her dolls after she loses at Extreme Rules and successfully retains. And then Alexa said something about Charlotte being a bitch, which is actually a pretty cool line. They ended up fighting, and then Alexa got the upper hand. Alexa did, like, I don't think it was a Canadian destroyer. I don't want to say that. I forgot what the move was, but Alexa actually did a pretty good move here, you know. And it's interesting. Two things to say. I remember, and for some of you guys who have been listening to this podcast for a long time, if you guys remember, I think this was a couple years ago. I believe this was when, I believe I would say 2019 when or 2018. I think it was 2018 when Ronda Rousey was the Raw Women's Champion. And like Alexa Bliss, I remember Alexa Bliss saying in the interview that she wanted Ronda Rousey and her to main event SummerSlam, which was absolutely ridiculous. I remember Alexa also saying that there's a lot of moves that she has in her arsenal that she doesn't do because she's a heel, right? Which I remember I absolutely went on an epic rant when I heard her make that statement. But I had noticed that Alexa has been doing some new moves, especially since she's been a babyface with this new character. So I'm interested because I've met Alexa Bliss. I met her here in Boston a couple years ago. And I asked Alexa what was her best match. What was her best match on her main roster career at the time? And she said it was against Charlotte at Survivor Series back when she was the Raw Women's Champion and Charlotte was the SmackDown Women's Champion. I was hoping she was going to say Sasha Banks at SummerSlam 2017, but I remember Alexa and Sasha weren't really friends. I know they've made up a lot since then, and they're on better terms with one another. But Alexa did say that her match with Charlotte was the match she was most proud of. So I'm intrigued. Could we get a good match with Charlotte and Alexa at Extreme Rules? I'm interested to see that. And I don't want to, put faith in Charlotte, but, I am interested to see, could Alexa and Charlotte actually give us a decent match at Extreme Rules? If they get the amount of time, they get what, maybe like 15 minutes? Who knows? I want Alexa to prove me something, show me something. For years I've been waiting to see, outside of her matches with Sasha Banks, of course, I've been waiting to see Alexa put on a match that's memorable in my eyes, something that I'm going to remember, right? Not something legendary, but something that I'll remember, as, oh, this is Alexa's best match, right? So maybe at Extreme Rules, Alexa will give us something. I feel like it's an interesting thing. It's something I'm thinking about as we enter into Extreme Rules, right? That's the first thing. Could Alexa and Charlotte actually give us a big match at Extreme Rules? Something really good. I don't know. I don't know. The second thing I will say is I would not be surprised if Alexa wins the Raw Women's Championship at Extreme Rules. She's over. I know there was a lot of people that said, especially when Alexa first did this character during COVID, right when they were still in the Thunderdome earlier this year. A lot of people said that character was not going to be over once fans got back in attendance. Look, like Alexa Bliss or hate Alexa Bliss, the character is over. And a lot of people can, my bro Anthony, right? My former co-host on this podcast, he said it here a couple weeks ago how much he hated Alexa Bliss for using that character that the Fiend created, that the Fiend got over in the first place. And how even though the Fiend is no longer with WWE, Alexa is still using that character. But like it or not, Alexa is over. You guys remember at Money in the Bank, she got a huge pop when she first debuted that character in front of a live audience outside of WrestleMania. So, and then she's been getting huge pops on Monday Night Raw as of late. So, like it or not, she is over. And yes, the idea of grown men buying dolls, right? It's ridiculous and it's embarrassing, honestly, in my opinion. But I can't sit here and deny that Alexa's not over. Like it or hate it. So I could definitely see Alexa winning the Raw Women's Championship at Extreme Rules. She's been she's a 5-time, I believe, singles champion, 2-time tag team champion. So I would not be surprised at all if Alexa won. And maybe they gave the title back to Charlotte, which I don't want to see. But I definitely would not be surprised if Alexa won the Raw Women's Championship from Charlotte at Extreme Rules. Especially with how over she is at the moment. Why wouldn't WWE capitalize on the momentum that Alexa has going for her? So, like I said, it'll be interesting, but I would not be surprised at all if Alexa won the Raw Women's Championship at Extreme Rules. And if she does, man, look, love it or hate it, the fans are behind it, no matter how embarrassing we might think it is. Right? We gotta be honest with ourselves here. So,
is it a plane?
So yeah, that's that. But yeah, I don't know, because if Alexa loses at Extreme Rules, what does Alexa go to SmackDown? Maybe, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know right now. There's a lot of uncertainty with this draft. I feel like the draft we had last year was easier to do based on storylines, but this year, these rosters could be 100% different. 100% different by the time we reach the draft. Like by the time the draft's over, these drafts could be completely best. But hey, we don't know. We have no idea, what's gonna happen with the draft right now. No idea at all. Damn, I'm kind of pissed that I lost my fantasy matchup this week. Fuck. That pisses me off. That actually pissing me off a lot, actually. But damn, well, get him next week, I guess, right? Anyway. Next up, we had the Viking Raiders and Drew McIntyre versus Veer, Shanky, and Jinder Mahal. This did nothing, right? Like I said, there's nothing for Drew to really do because it's obvious. It's pretty obvious. Drew's going to SmackDown in the draft. He's gonna be one of the top picks. He would probably be the second big draft pick for SmackDown outside of Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns is probably gonna be the first pick, and then Drew will probably be the second pick for SmackDown, right? Drew is most likely going to SmackDown because there's really nothing else for him to do on Monday Night Raw. He's not going after the United States Championship. He's not going after the WWE Championship. They're just trying to find something to keep Drew busy till they can move him, put him on SmackDown, and put him into that Universal Championship seat. I don't really have a problem with it because, like I said, Drew needs a break. He was in the WWE Championship scene for the better part of the last year and a half. He had multiple WWE Championship runs, and for the most part, he was great as WWE Champion. I love Drew McIntyre, but we need a little breather from him. Him taking a little bit of a break from the championship scene is okay. John Cena did that when he was the top babyface in WWE, right? He took breaks from the championship scene here and there. No matter if it was CM Punk or Daniel Bryan or Triple H or somebody else, right? He took breaks. That's what Drew McIntyre is. Drew is one of the top baby faces in that company. And it's good that he's taking a break right now from the WWE Championship scene. Because we know if he goes to SmackDown like we expect him to do, right, it's going to be good. It's going to be good to see him on a new brand, right? He's going to have tons of fresh matchups and feuds, right? And especially if we get Roman versus Drew again. Like, we remember how great their Survivor Series match, and we all want to see them run it back. So, and a Drew versus Roman Universal Championship feud, that would be great on SmackDown. We can debate all we want if Drew taking the title or taking the Universal Championship off Roman is the right decision, but it would be a great feud and great matches. So definitely, Drew taking a little bit of a break here from the WWE Championship scene. I'm not going to complain about it too much. This 6-man tag match, was completely unnecessary, and it was just there just to fill in time. Especially, it was there to get Drew on the show because he's not doing anything of importance right now, which is, like I said, it's fine, right? Given the circumstances, it's fine that Drew's not doing anything. But the Viking Raiders and Drew McIntyre versus Veer Shanky and Jinder Mahal. This was a short match. Drew was dominant here, right? Drew hit Shanky with the Michinoku driver, and then he nailed the Claymore for the win. I do think it is interesting, though, because remember, this is something that I will bring up. There will be a lot of podcasters that forget this. But remember, since I'm so great at what I do, I'm going to bring up something that people forgot, right? And let me check the chat real quick. Let me see if anybody remember what I'm about to say. Nope, no one said it yet, of course. There we go. So, remember, when Drew McIntyre lost to Bobby Lashley at Hell in a Cell, the stipulation was that Drew McIntyre could no longer challenge Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship as long as Lashley was champion. Big E cashed in tonight and is the new WWE Champion. So Drew is free to go back after the WWE Championship now. So if WWE wants to do something like, I don't know, this is something I would do. This is what I would do. Big E versus Bobby Lashley at Extreme Rules for the WWE Championship. I would do that. I would have Big E successfully retain, and then the next night on Monday Night Raw, the last Raw before the WWE draft, what I would do I would do I would do Big E versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship, right? Give us a big match, a never before seen match, right? You want to establish Big E as a big star, as a big baby face, and the new face of Monday Night Raw as WWE Champion. Have Drew McIntyre challenge Big E for the WWE Championship, at the beginning of the show, and in the main event, have Big E successfully retain in a classic match with Big E, or with Drew McIntyre. That's what I would do. The night after Extreme Rules, I would do Drew McIntyre versus Big E for the WWE Championship on Raw and have Big E retain. Remember how good a match Drew McIntyre had with Kofi Kingston earlier this year? I think Drew could have just as good, if not better, a match with Big E. Two complete powerhouses. Remember at Money in the Bank, when those two were in the ring together, going after the Money in the Bank briefcase? Remember how special that felt? Do something like that. You want to get Big E's WWE Championship run off to a good start? Him beating Lashley and Drew is just the way to start off his reign. Two former dominant WWE champions as Big E starts his own dominant WWE Championship run. In the meanwhile, you should have Karrion Kross being built up to take that title from Big E at WrestleMania next year. That's what I would do. I would be building up Karrion Kross to eventually be the one to take that WWE Championship from Big E. right? And then after Drew loses the Big E, I would have them show some sportsmanship, and then Drew gets drafted to SmackDown in the WWE draft, and then gets put into the Universal Championship picture. That's what I would do. You're not gonna hear many people bring that up. All right, you're not gonna hear many people bring that up. This is what separates me from other podcasters, right? So if you see WWE, take my idea, you guys know where it came from. That's what WWE should do. That's what I would do, simply put. Next up, we had Damian Priest versus Jeff Hardy for the United States Championship. This was random, right? And I know a lot of people were complaining about Jeff Hardy being put in the 24/7 championship and how embarrassing it was for a legend like Jeff Hardy to be chasing after a gimmick championship last week. A lot of people bitched and moaned about that on social media, and excuse me, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. It's one of the things we complain about. WWE's creativity. It makes no sense for you to have a legend like Jeff Hardy going after the 24/7 title. Like, come on, come on. So I was kind of happy to see people shitting on WWE for that terrible decision making last week, like they did. So we got Jeff Hardy versus Damian Priest here, and I will give WWE credit. WWE has done a pretty good job of actually building up Damian Priest. They've done a good job. He beat Sheamus, a dominant guy. He beat Drew McIntyre was it? I think it was last week or the week before, right? So they are doing a good job of building Damian Priest up as a dominant babyface. So so basically, remember, even though we were getting this United States Championship match tonight, first off, I will say Jeff Hardy has done nothing to deserve this opportunity. I want to get that out of the way. Even though this was a good match, Hardy has done nothing to deserve a United States Championship opportunity. He's been booked terribly all year. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just the truth, right? So I just want to make sure we get that out of the way, because WWE, even though you gave us this match tonight, you're not going to insult my intelligence by making me believe that Hardy deserved the U.S. Championship match. You're not going to do that. He didn't deserve this match, in all honesty. Let's be honest with ourselves here, right? And remember that Sheamus would be waiting to face the winner of this match at Extreme Rules for the United States Championship. So Sheamus came down to watch the match from the commentary table as this match went on. So this was an okay match. It wasn't too bad. These two both brought it to the table. Before the match, Priest cut a promo talking about how he was actually going to face someone that he respects in Hardy. So Priest hit Hardy with a shoulder tackle, right? And I'm going to move forward here a little bit. We came back from the break. Hardy got hit with a super side suplex. Then Priest kicked out of Hardy's comeback moves. He hit the spinning heel kick. Then Hardy he went for the twist of fate, but Priest hit the reckoning on him, right? And was able to retain his title. And was, like I said, a decent match. And then Sheamus attacked him as soon as the match was over. And Sheamus hit Hardy with a bro kick at ringside. But then Priest nailed him with a boot to the face to get the advantage on his rival once again. So like I said, Priest, they're doing actually a decent job of building him up as United States Champion. I expect him and Sheamus to have another good match at Extreme Rules, just like they did at SummerSlam. But I will ask this question, though, right? I will ask this question. What is the point of the Extreme Rules pay-per-view? Usually when it comes to Extreme Rules, it's like, what? The marketing point is the one night that WWE gets extreme. Where's the extreme matches? All the matches that have been announced for the show right now are normal matches. Title matches. Where's your Extreme Rules match? Where's your No Holds Barred? Where's your last man standing or I quit. Where's the stipulation for these matches? Like right now we haven't gotten really any of those. So as I look at these Extreme Rules card take shape, I will say WWE, you're not doing a good job of living up to the Extreme Rules history and what the pay per view is supposed to be about. But I do expect Priest and Sheamus, even if they don't have a stipulation added to their match, I do expect those two to absolutely kill it and have a really good, another potential show stealing match, just like they did at SummerSlam. And I just said a couple moments ago, I would have Karen Cross be built up to take the WWE Championship from Big E at WrestleMania next year. I think you should have Keith Lee built up to take the United States Championship from Damian Priest going forward, right? I would love to see, like, I don't know why Keith Lee has disappeared from Monday Night Raw again, but if he does come back, I would love to see Keith Lee versus Damian Priest for the United States Championship, okay? Moving on. We had Nikki ASH versus Tamina and Rhea Ripley versus Natalya. And I will bring this up once again. When are Tegan Nox and Sachi Blackheart going to get their tag team championship opportunity? They beat Natalya and Tamina on 3 separate occasions and still haven't gotten their, tag team championship opportunity, which I find disgraceful. I find that disgraceful. Right? Come on. Do not insult my intelligence like that. You keep teasing here that, with Rhea Ripley and Natalya, or not, Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH potentially being the ones that take those titles off to me and Natalya. But, like I said, you're not going to insult my intelligence and make me forget about Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart, who should have already won those titles from Natalya and Tamina after beating them on 3 fucking separate occasions. Like I said, I hate when WWE insults our intelligence. But we saw backstage. Hold on, real quick. I just got a text. So we saw backstage these two teams almost breaking out in a brawl. So all of a sudden Sonya Deville had to come in, and Sonya booked Nikki ASH versus Tamina, and then she also booked Natalya versus Rhea Ripley. So basically, you guys know the drill here. WWE loves to do where they have tag teams that are feuding with one another. They have they face off in singles matches. This is typical WWE booking. It gets pretty tiring when WWE does it so much and it becomes so repetitive. Like, most of the time, I don't mind this, but WWE's been doing this way too often as of late on WWE TV. Way too often. Like, we just saw this a bunch with the Mysterios and the Usos the last couple months, and now here we are getting the same formula again. I'm just like, come on, there's other ways to be fucking creative here, people. So Tamina and Natalya took place first. So all of a sudden we saw near the end here there was some kind of botch, right? Nikki hit the tornado DDT, but it looked like Tamina had kicked out right as the 3 count was made. So I don't know if that was the intended finish, but it looked like a botch. And then on top of that, Mike Rome's dumbass gets on the mic and says, "Oh, that Tamina had won the match," when Nikki was the one that made the pin. And even though technically the match wasn't even supposed to be over since Tamina kicked out. So all kinds of stupid fucking shit going on here. And we never really got any clarification on what was supposed to happen. But I'm going to just go with Nikki Cross winning, right? So then after the match, we saw Tamina attack Natalya, right? Or no, Tamina attacked Nikki. And then Natalya prevented Ripley from getting involved and helping her partner up. So then we saw Tamina swing Nikki into the barricade. And then Rhea Ripley and Natalya took place or started during the break. And then we saw the match continue. So we actually had 2 breaks here. We had 2 breaks here with this match. Like I said, WWE was just trying to fill in time. So then Nikki came back out after being checked for injuries, and then she tripped Natalya while the ref was distracted. She stopped Natalya from using the ropes for leverage, and then Rhea was able to lock in the submission for the win. So both Natalya and Ripley get submission victories over Natalya and Tamina. Look, I would do, just to make sense of all this crap, I would do a triple threat tag team match for the women's tag titles at Extreme Rules. Not that because I want to see the match, but clearly Rhea and Nikki and Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart, both teams have beaten the tag champions on multiple occasions. Natalya and Tamina have looked absolutely awful as tag champions and should have already lost those belts. So, just to try to make sense of all this nonsense, I would just do a triple threat tag team match at Extreme Rules with these 3 teams, and then boom, and then take the titles off Natalya and Tamina. And, I would give the titles probably to Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. That's the way I would do it, because you're insulting our intelligence every week that goes by. And, Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart, who defeated Natalya and Tamina first, it's an insult to us that they don't get their tag team title match. So that's what I would do at Extreme Rules, just to make sense of all this nonsense, okay? So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Even though it is weird that it is weird that Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH are a tag team. They don't get along, or not that they don't get along, their just styles don't clash. With Orton and Riddle, it's different because the way they interact is hilarious. It makes you want to see them succeed as a tag team. With Nikki and Rhea, this makes absolutely no sense at all. Their personalities have nothing interesting about them when they come together. So I don't know. So we had another 6-man tag team match. So we had another, or this was not a 6-man, this was actually an 8-man tag team match. So we had the New Day, Mustafa Ali and Mansoor versus Mace, T-Bar, Almas, and AJ Styles, right? The match itself wasn't that bad. And of course, it's almost impossible to have a bad match when you have the New Day and AJ Styles in the same ring. Those 3, you always know what you're gonna get, no matter what type of match those individuals are in, right? Ali and Mansoor are okay, but you knew this was not gonna be a mad match with Styles and the New Day in there, right? Here's something I'm just not fucking understanding. Why the fuck is Almas over all of a sudden? Last week, everyone's going crazy about Almas and Bobby Lashley in the ring together, and I know I didn't do a Raw review last week, but there's some people saying that Almas and Bobby Lashley could be a WWE Championship main event for a pay-per-view one day. I was like, have you guys fucking lost your minds? Have you guys gone insane? What the hell are you, what is life right now? I was like, wait, what? Has the world gone mad or something? What am I missing here? So you have people say that Almas and Bobby Lashley are all of a sudden a WWE Championship match, and Almas getting cheered last week. Now he's getting cheered this week. What? Are people blinded? That Boston crowd was great tonight, but I was like, what's going on? Am I missing something here? Almas does nothing in the ring. He's basically JD from, I'll give JD from NY credit because he said this, but I completely agree with him. Basically, Almas has become the new Great Khali. Remember when the Great Khali was built up in the late 2000s? He even won the World Heavyweight Championship. That is basically what Almas is being built up as. And the thing is, Great Khali was terrible in the ring. The only time that the Great Khali ever looked decent was when he had those WWE Championship matches with John Cena, when Cena held the title for 370 days. That was it. That was it. Oh, and now, so you have Almas here as, he's the new Great Khali. He's slow as hell in the ring. He does nothing special. But now people are cheering him? I'm like, what's going on here? So we came back from break, right? Mason T-Bar were taking out everybody. And remember, a lot of this came from the tag team turmoil match when, after the New Day pinned Mason T-Bar, Mason T-Bar got very angry and destroyed the New Day and Mansoor and Ali. So we saw a continuation of that in this match. So after the break, Woods and Kingston were able to tag in and reverse the momentum, right? They took the fight to Styles and everybody else. So Ali made a blind tag and took down Styles, but then almost tagged himself in. All of a sudden, the Garden goes crazy. I'm just like, what the fuck is actually happening here? So all of a sudden, Almas comes in and he dominates Ali. Then there was a point where Mansoor, Kingston, and Woods all tried to help, but Mansoor fends off all four men like he's Thanos in fucking Avengers Infinity War, right? You guys know the scene in Infinity War where like Star-Lord, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy that were on Titan, they're all trying to take down Thanos. They're trying to get the Infinity Gauntlet off his hand, right? And all of a sudden, Thanos just freaking whops all of them to pieces. That's what this reminded me of. I was like, what the fuck? Like, Almas is Thanos now? And then he hit Ali with a two-handed chokeslam to get the 3-pin count. And the crowd went crazy. So the match was good. I just don't understand this notion all of a sudden that Almas is over and now a fan favorite. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening here? Does no one else see? Am I the only one that sees how overrated Almas truly is? So I don't know. That confused me. But whatever. I really hope this is just a 2-week thing, and Almas is actually not as over as he is, because the guy moves like a slug in the ring. Because if this continues, oh man, I could see now. Right at the end of the year, probably TLC, I could see them trying to build up a Biggie and Almas WWE Championship match. I could see it now, and I pray that I'm wrong. But knowing these fools and knowing Vince's dumbass, we could be heading towards a Biggie Almas WWE Championship match in the future. I hope I'm wrong, but man, I don't know. I don't get this notion that fucking Almas is all of a sudden over. I hate it. All right? Give me AJ Styles versus Biggie for the WWE Championship. Keep Almas off the TV screen as much as possible. Get him away from my eyes. Please. I'm begging you. Fucking Almas being over, man. What a complete joke. Speaking of a complete joke, right before the main event WWE Championship match, we had Doudrop and Eva Marie. Talk about a joke. I don't understand why Eva Marie's with this company. I don't understand why you brought back Eva Marie. She has done absolutely nothing. Literally, she has done absolutely nothing since coming back. She's the biggest waste of space on that roster. I do not understand how you could release somebody like Ruby Soho, who's already the number one contender for the AEW Women's Championship on Dynamite, right? How you could release someone as talented as Ruby Soho and have Eva Marie on your payroll. If that's not enough evidence alone to show why Vince McMahon should be fucking fired, right? I don't know what else to tell you. You're just blind and dumb. You're like, there's no way you're ever going to convince me. There's no way you're ever going to convince me that Eva Marie deserves to be signed on any wrestling company in this world. You're never going to convince me of that. She is awful. She is awful at what she does. Terrible. It's that simple. She's garbage. Straight garbage. So, So we had a rematch here, right? If you guys remember a couple weeks ago, uh, so a couple weeks ago, Dewdrop beat Eva Marie, and then this was a rematch here tonight. Eva actually tried to wrestle. She tried to take down Dewdrop with some roll up, even though Dewdrop was way too strong. She didn't go down. She tried to put Dewdrop in a wrestle, but she didn't have the strength to do it. I was like, what the fuck is this? Now Eva wants to try to wrestle, but everything that Eva tried, Dewdrop just overpowered her, right? Uh, the most offense Eva was able to get in was a couple of slams, head slams into a turnbuckle, but Dewdrop had advantage for the most part. She hit a senton and a low crossbody to get the win over Eva. So hopefully this feud is over because I'm done with it. There is absolutely nothing interesting about this whatsoever. And also, who the fuck cares? Hopefully this is the end of Eva Marie, man. Honestly. Like, I just hope that we just get a Bleach Report notification that WWE has come to terms on the release of Eva Marie. Because every day that she's in that company is just a disgrace and shows more and more why Vince should be absolutely just fired. And how it shows how out of touch he is. Every second that Eva Marie's time with that company is an embarrassment to the wrestling industry. She adds no value whatsoever. I still have no idea to this day what they were thinking by having Eva Marie sign. I still don't think we've seen her do a single real wrestling move since she's come back. In the what 8-9 matches she's had, she has done nothing in the ring. I have no idea why she is signed. No idea. The storyline and everything about it is a complete joke and a complete waste of your time and my time. I don't get why WWE continues to waste our time with this nonsense. I don't get it. But this was terrible. Terrible and a complete waste of time. You had other WWE superstars going after the 24/7 championship, right? Drake Maverick had a plan, but it didn't work out as Reggie was able to get away. But we saw Drake tell R-Truth and Akira Tozawa that it wasn't the plan that failed, but it was the execution and whatever, right? This was another waste of our time. 24/7 championship should be burned. And last but not least, we are here at the main event. We had Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley, and I'll give them credit. This was a great match. This was a great match. Part of the reason why was that Boston crowd. The Boston crowd tonight was incredible. They made this show better than it deserved to be. They made this show better than it deserved to be. This crowd tonight was incredible. And if WWE needs any reason, to give Boston one of the big pay-per-views next year, no matter if it's the Rumble or SummerSlam or Survivor Series or Money in the Bank, here it is right tonight proves it. That Boston crowd was absolutely amazing tonight. And I would love to see the Royal Rumble or SummerSlam or Survivor Series next year take place in B-Town at the Garden. That was tonight was probably one of the best crowds all year for WWE. They were red hot for this WWE Championship match, and even though they knew Big E was most likely going to cash in, right, it didn't bring down their excitement at all. This crowd was very, very hyped for this main event. So Orton, right as the bell rang, rolled out of the ring, being the veteran that he is. He wanted to play mind games with the champ. Lashley did try to chase him right away, but then he got distracted by Riddle, and then Orton was able to take advantage. He slammed Lashley into the... He slammed Orton into the steel ring step, then the barricade, and then the announce table, but then Lashley kicked out at 1. Then Orton sent Lashley into the ring post, but when he went for the DDT, Lashley was able to backdrop him out of the ring. Then Orton dropped him on the barricade and clotheslined him into the timekeeper's area as we went into break. So we came back and Orton took advantage with a close 2 count with a superplex. So then Lashley picked him up, ran him into the ring post. He then hit a huge spear in the corner, right? Then Orton was able to get back into the match when he hit a snap power slam, and then the DDT. Orton doing his normal stuff. Lashley countered the RKO and hit a spear, but couldn't get the pin. Orton was able to avoid the hurt lock and hit the RKO for so Orton went for the pinfall, but MVP pulled Lashley out of the ring, and then Orton hit MVP with an RKO to make sure he wouldn't get involved again. The crowd was very, very, very on Orton's side here. Very on Orton's side. And even though they knew Biggie was waiting in the wings to cash in on the winner, still, they were very, very high and would have went crazy to see Orton get his 15th WWE Championship tonight. Even though it was pretty obvious that that wasn't going to happen. All right, so then after Orton had hit MVP with an RKO, it gave Lashley time to recover, and after Orton got back in the ring, he got hit with a spear to get the pin and retain the WWE Championship. But this would be Lashley's final successful WWE Championship defense. After the match, Lashley went crazy, taking out Matt Riddle, who was trying to, check on his partner. He also put Orton through the announce table, but it looked like he had appeared to hurt his knee in the process, and that's when Big E came down with a ref and the briefcase. Like I said, how much better would this have been if Big E had cashed in and nobody knew about it? If he had not made it known earlier in the day on Twitter and not made it known throughout this show that he had all the attention to cash in, this would have made this moment so much better and so much more special. WWE could have done so much better with the execution. I can't say it enough. How great would Biggie's, even though Biggie got a great pop here, right? It would have been even a greater pop if he had come in out of nowhere. Nobody knowing that he was there at Raw, backstage. Nobody knowing that he was planning on cashing out on the winner of the WWE Championship match. It would have been so much better and so much more special. So, Biggie comes down, and then we cut to a final commercial break. We come back, there's like 5 minutes left in the show, but the match had begun. Biggie bitch slapped Bobby Lashley as the ref called for the bell. Lashley tackled him and started unloading, but Biggie took out his injured knee with a chop block. Lashley counted the big ending and hit a spear for a close 2 count. I'm not gonna lie, my heart kind of jumped for a sec when Lashley hit that spear. I was like, there's no fucking way this company would have the balls to have Biggie fail cash in. Like, are they trying to make Lashley the most hated man? Like, who, like that company, after everything, that show would have absolutely rioted. That crowd would have rioted if Lashley had retained right there on Biggie with that spear. So very close 2 count. Even I was like, oh my gosh. But Biggie kicked out at the last second. Biggie got to his feet and hit the big ending for the win. And, he got the 1, 2, 3. An absolutely monster pop. Like, this was a huge pop. The crowd went absolutely crazy. Like I said, even though WWE failed, with the execution of the Money in the Bank cash-in, it was kind of saved because of how good this crowd reacted. The crowd went absolutely wild. We saw Woods and Kingston come down to celebrate with him, kind of similar to what they did when Kofi won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania or 2 years ago, back at WrestleMania 35. So it was great to see the crowd go absolutely wild. Kingston and Woods embracing their brother as they celebrated his big moment. And that's how Monday Night Raw ended tonight. So even though I'm happy for Big E, right? I am happy for Big E. The execution, this could have been done so much better. I just have to make that clear. This would have been even better. This would have been even greater a moment if they had just had Big E cash in without anybody knowing, right? I know you're desperate and I know you want to respond to AEW, but there's better ways. There are better ways to do this. Way better ways to do it, right? But either way, it is what it is. Big E is the new WWE champion. I am happy for him. Like I said, what I would do for Big E going forward, I would have Big E defend against Bobby Lashley at Extreme Rules, retain, and then the night after that on the final Monday Night Raw for the WWE draft, I would do Big E versus Drew McIntyre in the main event for the WWE Championship. Do it however you want. You can have Big E do an open challenge. You can have Drew just challenge Big E straight up, saying, "Oh, I've been waiting to get another chance at the WWE Championship after losing to Bobby Lashley." And in the main event, I'd have Big E defeat Drew McIntyre clean, right? And then have Drew and Big E embrace and give sportsmanship after the match. And then Drew goes over the SmackDown in the WWE draft. That's how I would start off Big E's reign as WWE champion. He needs to be a dominant WWE champion because Drew and Lashley, the two WWE champions that came before him, both were great WWE champions. Even though their booking wasn't the greatest at the time, I feel like we all agree that both were dominant champions and they were really good at what they did. And then I would start building up Karrion Kross as the guy to take that WWE Championship from Big E. And I would honestly do it at WrestleMania next year. I would have Karrion Kross built up to take the WWE Championship from Big E at WrestleMania this year. So that's how I would book Big E coming out of his big WWE Championship victory tonight going forward. So if anybody from WWE is listening, take some fucking notes because I know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? Casey says Big E is the 33rd Triple Crown champion in WWE history, right? So there you have it. I also believe he's a Grand Slam champion now, right? I don't know. He's won the IC title. He's won both tag team championships on Raw and SmackDown. He's a WWE champion. I don't know. I don't think Big E's ever won the United States Championship, right? But he's a Triple Crown champion, and but hey. JD says Big E losing again at WrestleMania. That is a good point. I didn't think about that. I did not think about that. Big E has actually never won a WrestleMania match. That is a good point. Okay. Maybe you do something where Big E, I don't know. Maybe Big E loses the WWE Championship to Karrion Kross. At later in the year, maybe you do something like that. You have Big E lose the WWE Championship to Karrion Kross later in the year, and then you have him regain that title at WrestleMania and get his first WrestleMania victory. I don't know. Maybe do something like that. I don't know, but that is a good point. He's never won a WrestleMania match. So that is a good way to put it. Thank you, JD, for that one. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. But we'll see how Big E's WWE Championship run goes, and we'll figure it out as time goes by. But I think Karrion Kross would be the best option, and you should be building him up now. Karrion Kross was on this show. He gave a quick backstage promo about how he plans to destroy everybody on Raw until there's no one left, and then until everyone falls and prays. But we'll see. But Big E is the new WWE champion. That's what matters, and that's what I would do with Big E coming out of his championship victory. I would have Karrion Kross be the one to take the WWE championship from him eventually. Damn, my hair is long. I need to cut it later this week. Gotta get a trim or something. My hair is getting fucking long. But, yeah. I will quickly mention this, right? There was a lot of NXT promotion on this show, right? And clearly, that's because Vince McMahon is in charge of NXT now, right? Did you ever see NXT get this type of fucking promotion when Triple H was in charge the last 5-6 years? Fuck no. But now that Vince is in charge, all of a sudden, they want to promote NXT like crazy, right? Everybody's going crazy about the NXT rebrand and all this other nonsense, right? And, everyone's saying all this, And I heard, if you guys haven't already heard the reports, Samoa Joe had to vacate the NXT Championship, unfortunately. I don't know what's going on there. So Samoa Joe was injured, right? Supposedly. But I was like, wait a minute. What doesn't make sense, and JD, don't talk about Sasha going to Raw. Like, I pray that you're wrong. I've been thinking about it, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. If it happens, I'll get mad then. But I don't want to talk about Sasha Banks going potentially to Raw. It could happen. I hope and pray it doesn't happen. But oh yeah, Danny, I see you in the chat. Biggie, you're completely right. Sasha Banks is the best female wrestler in the world. It's not even close. Sasha is one of the best wrestlers all around in the world. That's not even a conversation. Come on. And I don't want to think about Sasha Banks potentially getting drafted to Monday Night Raw, even though it could happen. It could happen. I have no idea what's happening with the draft. We will do a mock draft here sometime the next couple of weeks once I find the right tier list. But damn, would I let Sasha peg me? There's a lot of things I would let Sasha do to me, okay? There's a lot of things. Let's be serious here, man. I miss Sasha Banks. She needs to come back to WWE television. But there's a lot. Yo, Danny got me all messed up. Danny says Becky is rumored to go to Raw, but we'll see. I don't see. Reason why I don't see that happening is because Seth's on SmackDown. If Becky goes to Raw, Seth is going to Raw. WWE doesn't break up couples. That's one thing that they don't do, right? Out of all the things that they should do, they don't break up couples. So I think Becky's going to stay on SmackDown if Seth's still on SmackDown. If Seth's going to Raw, Becky will probably go to Raw. But hey, but remember, Becky Fox is going to want Becky on the big show, right? Roman, Becky, right? They're big stars. They're going to want them on Fox. So I think it's more likely that Becky will stay on SmackDown. But with the draft going on, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, when we do this mock draft in a couple weeks, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be really difficult because, look, I have no idea who's going where, right? JD says, I actually believe that folks now book dream matches with her because they know she'll get them over with Becky and Charlotte won't. Not really because they want the match now. Look, it is what it is. Anthony, my former co-host, is in the chat, right? You're 2 hours late, bro. Good, you're 2 hours late. Where you been? I know you're busy with your baseball stuff, bro. But look, Anthony, I'll say this live. We need to get you. We need to come up to Boston. We got to get you to a Woo Sox game next season. I know you've been hearing about the Worcester Red Sox over there, right? But anyway, like I said, I'll quickly mention this before we end the podcast. Look, Samoa Joe having to vacate the NXT title. Look, that doesn't make sense. Because I thought about it. Samoa Joe has not had a match. He's not had a match on NXT television since winning the NXT Championship at NXT TakeOver a couple weeks ago. He's done promos basically for the most part. Unless he injured himself while in the gym or training or something else, I don't get it. And then I think about it more. It was Vince who released Samoa Joe earlier this year. Remember, Samoa Joe was getting ready to come back to the ring, and then he got released. He got released right after WrestleMania. Isn't it kind of fishy that here we are, Samoa Joe wins the NXT Championship right after having a great match with Karrion Kross? And then all of a sudden, Vince is taking over NXT. He wants to get rid of all the old talent. He wants to do this whole dumbass reboot with all the new logos, all this crazy promotion, all this other shit. And now all of a sudden, all right, Samoa Joe is no longer NXT champion out of nowhere. I'm sorry, but I find it really fishy that the second Vince McMahon takes over NXT, and the guy that released Samoa Joe, right? He takes over NXT, and then all of a sudden, Samoa Joe is no longer the NXT champion because of undisclosed injuries. Look, if he's actually injured, that sucks. Cause I really was excited for Samoa Joe's title reign, man. I really was, cause I love Samoa Joe. I do. But if there's something else going on backstage and this involves Vince, right? Then that's a bunch of horse shit. And Samoa Joe should just walk out. He should just walk out and go to AEW right now. He really should. I don't know what's going on. Samoa Joe could be legitimately injured. But if he's not, and something fishy is going on here, right? And this is because of Vince McMahon taking over, like, there's going to be problems, really. He should just walk out right now. Because Samoa Joe does not deserve to be disrespected like that. Okay? It's that fucking simple. Oh yeah, and Edward, I'm gonna call you out, Edward, right now. I'm gonna call you out, Edward Joe's in the chat. I know you left the chat to go watch JD's review. I've noticed that because I've seen your ass in JD's chats. You'll be leaving my stream right away to go watch JD's reviews. I'm on your ass, Edward. I know what you be doing. I know you're a loyal subscriber and all, but I know you watch my videos a lot because I will see you in the comment section. But I know you be going to watch JD's videos before you watch mine. You'll be leaving my stream midway. I'm on you. Right? But Anthony, I'll see what Anthony said. I did, like I said, Anthony, you're 2 hours late. I talked about Alexa Bliss earlier, but I knew you were going to mention it eventually. Right? Anthony says Alexa is pathetic, and you fans that cheer for her are just as pathetic. Losers. Probably. Oh my gosh. Probably, you losers probably cuddle with that damn doll, and that's the only action you get. Holy moly, man. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, man. That is funny. Holy shit. Anthony, man. Woo. Oh, man. I knew eventually Anthony was going to say something in the comments section, man. That is... He said, you guys probably cuddle with that damn doll, and that's the only action you get. Oh, my gosh. This is why we need Anthony back on the podcast with me, man. Like... For those of you guys who didn't watch me and Anthony back in the day when we were a two-man duo, he was saying this stuff all the time on camera, all the time, right? But, you only get to see him in the comment section, But that is hilarious. What a comment there. What a comment there, man. But, Edward, I see you in JD's I'm not saying right now, but I know you go watch JD's stats. JD's live streams. I've seen you in the chat room. I've seen you. All right? Don't try to deny it. I'm just joking around with you a little bit, but I do know you. I've seen you. I got my eyes on you, Edward. All right? But anyway, Real ESJ, what's good? Well, why are you guys coming back now, man? We're nearly ending the stream. Like, golly, now all you guys want to show up? Where are you guys the first 2 hours? Come on. I love you guys all the time, man. But anyway, man, for the most part, we're pretty much done here. Pretty much done here, man. But this was an awesome review, awesome stream, man. We had about 500 viewers in here. I'm looking at the stats right here. We had 500 viewers. We had like 40 people in here at some point. I know we lost a lot of viewers just because I was watching Monday Night Raw. Or not Monday Night Raw. I was watching Monday Night Football in the middle of the review, man. But I had to catch the end of that Ravens Raiders OT game, man. Come on. But either way, man, thank you guys for sticking on. So for those of you guys who are here for the whole review, Andy says when I'm welcome. What do you mean when you're welcome? You're welcome on the fucking channel anytime. You helped build this podcast. What do you mean? Oh, he said when it's warranted. I thought you said when it's like, look, fuck, you need an invite to be on the podcast. A podcast you built. What the fuck? Wait, what? Like what? Dude, so like you don't need no invitation. You're free to come on whenever you want. But you know, what was I saying? What was I saying? Look, man, that Raiders Ravens game, I had to watch the ending of it live. I know we lost some viewers because of it, but I had to. Come on, I had to, bro. And it's Monday Night Raw. Like fuck it. Come on, it's Monday Night Raw. We need something. We need something to entertain ourselves, right? At least, this show tonight was crazy. So, of course, it wasn't a boring review, but, for the most part, right, about what, 50 out of 52 weeks a year, Raw is dreadful. So, we need something, at least entertaining to talk about. So, I'm sorry for the viewers that left when I was watching Monday Night Football, but, the real ones that stayed throughout the entire overtime and then stayed past that. I know a lot of people that watch this on demand, they're going to skip like that 15 minutes because that was a good 15 minutes we were watching the overtime with the Ravens and the Raiders. I know a lot of people are going to skip that and get right back to the review. But for those of you guys who stayed in the chat through the overtime, shout out to y'all because y'all are awesome, right? Shout out to y'all. Y'all are awesome. Anthony says, I need to be pissed to be a guest. That's when I'm at my best. Rhyming accidentally. But, I agree with you, bro. We'll get Anthony back on here eventually. And then you guys can see why we were the best duo in the IWC. Right? But I will say this as we end the podcast, man. I will have a extra episode. This fucking ant. No, you're dead. Killed an ant with my bare hands. And now I gotta go wash my hands. But anyway, I will have a bonus podcast episode segment either out tomorrow or Wednesday. I gotta figure out when. It's either gonna be out tomorrow or Wednesday because we're gonna rant about why Becky Lynch's heel turn sucks. Sucks, man. Like I have a lot to say. You guys, I'm sorry I wasn't able to get the SmackDown review for you guys this weekend because I was busy. I've been really busy with stuff at work, with the Woo Sox. But I will have a video sometime this week, either Tuesday or Wednesday, about Becky Lynch's heel turn and why it sucks so far. Because when Becky came out with that ridiculous jacket last week, I got pissed off. Really pissed off. So expect that video later this week. But other than that, guys, that's about it. Thank you guys so very much for joining me here on the podcast. We went over 2 hours again, which is starting to become a theme with these reviews and these streams, right? It used to be a little over an hour, then an hour and a half, then an hour 45. But for the last couple streams, we've been going over 2 hours, so it's becoming kind of a theme. But thank you guys so very much for joining me here on the podcast. You guys are awesome. No matter if you're watching on the stream or on demand, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Before you guys leave a like on the video so this video gets pushed out to more people and we can educate more people about wrestling. All right, I will be back later this week with other stuff. I'll be back here with some other stuff throughout the week. Dragon Mode WWE, you know the drill. You know how we do it here. As always, guys, you guys stay safe and healthy, yo. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys are new to the channel. Hit the bell because my name Fitz TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Like I said, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day, guys. Peace.